Hey everybody, today we are going to use our Vitamix to help us make our own sauerkraut, homemade sauerkraut. You need 1 large head of cabbage and 1 tablespoon of sea salt. That's it, and some time. This is 5 to 14 day recipe, so we're basically gonna call a judgment at 5 days and see how it's fermenting. And you are going to need 1 glass mason jar. First thing you're going to do is get your head of cabbage, get it clean, and we're going to start cutting this up so it will fit in the food processor. All right, we are ready to shred. So we're going to use the Vitamix food processor attachment, and we're using large shred. I've tested it already and I want to use large shred. Small shred's too fine. So let's get this started and start shredding. All right, so that was about 2 minutes. We shredded an entire head of cabbage painlessly and easily. So let's get this into our bowl. This did a lot more shred than strings, but that's all right. So this would make excellent coleslaw also, I would imagine. All right, so here we go. Now, what we're gonna do is we're going to sprinkle our salt. So 1 tablespoon of salt. We're just going to sprinkle over here because we want to start this in the sweating process. So we're going to sprinkle this over, and then we're going to let it set for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then we'll get back to it. We want this to start sweating. So there we go. Just leave it set over the top. All right, so this has been sitting with the salt on top for about 10 to 15 minutes here, and now it's actually time to make the brine. The actually directions say like punch this down, but I'm going to use this because I really don't want to just use my fists. But basically we just want to, we're basically bruising the cabbage to create the juice here, which then becomes our brine when we put it into our mason jar. And I'm being a little careful here because I don't want to cut this up and chop it anymore. It's already not real stringy, so it's more like a coleslaw consistency, but it's going to be all right. It's still going to be sauerkraut. We don't have a whole lot of liquid at the bottom, so this is going to take a while. All right, so I am going to punch it down. I did clean my hands. Feel this actually seems like it might be doing a little better here because, oh yeah, look at that. So it is better using your hands because you can see the liquid squeezing out when I do this. We're muddling this real good here. You can take a look at that. You can see every time I press, there's a lot of juice in there. So maybe a few more minutes of this. All right, we got it all smashed down. You see how much that is actually smashed down since we started. So about in half. And there's quite a bit of juice there. It doesn't really look juicy, but every time you smash, you can see the juice coming out of there. So that's what you want. And now we're going to get it in the mason jar. And we want the juice basically covered. So I'm going to using a wide mouth jar because it's easier to get the cabbage in there. But they say 1 large head of cabbage will make about 1 mason jar full. This may go a little longer. And as you put this in, you want to squeeze this down and see, we basically want the juice to kind of come up over. You really just don't want any air pockets in there because we want this really tightly packed, and we're going to leave about 2 inches of space at the top because this will expand. All right, that's about it. That is very tightly packed, no air pockets, and we are going to put a loose lid on this. So we don't want to screw this down tight. So basically, this is a loose lid, but I don't want it coming off, so I'm just going to give it a nice quick turn, but just enough so it's snug there. I would call that a loose lid. On the counter at room temperature for 5 to 14 days. So what's going to happen is in 5 days, we are going to taste this and see how sour it is. If it's not sour enough, we'll leave it set a little longer. If it's to our liking, then we will put it in the refrigerator as it is. But I'm definitely, as soon as this tastes the way I want it to taste, I'm probably going to have a brat, maybe a Reuben. I'm excited to try this stuff out. So let's get this on the counter, setting for at least 5 days, and we'll be back in taste. All right, we're back with the sauerkraut. Now, if you remember, I said 5 days, at least 5 days. So I tried, 5 days was yesterday. I tried it yesterday. I wanted it a little more sour. Today's the 6th day, and we're gonna go ahead and give this a try. Now, you notice, we only filled this to here. That's why we left all that headspace, because that did swell up quite a bit and expand. So if you look here now, this isn't long and stringy like sauerkraut that you buy at the store because we use the food processor. It's more like a coleslaw consistency, but I think we're gonna be just fine. This is actually probably gonna spread out on a bratwurst pretty good. So I wanna mix this up a little bit because I don't wanna taste right off the top. So here we go here. Let's give this a taste. Wow. Actually, I am pleasantly surprised. This is, you can kind of get a little bit of cabbage flavor that you don't get in a normal sauerkraut, but you get that sour flavor. When I first put this in the jar, it basically tasted like salt. I'm not really tasting the salt now, but I taste the sour of the cabbage, and honestly, I can't wait to put this on a bratwurst and try it on a brat. This is going to be, I think, amazing. So right now, I'm pretty happy with it. So we don't leave it on the counter anymore. We're gonna put this in the refrigerator. This will last up to 9 months. So I'm looking forward to some good brats with some good homemade sauerkraut. Thanks for watching. This is how easy sauerkraut is to make. Click that thumbs up, like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and thanks for watching.